Hello everyone, how are you doing? Okay, I'm reading to you from the book of Ecclesiastes. We're talking about why when you work so hard do you sometimes not see the rewards of your work, okay? Ecclesiastes is a book that describes to us vanity. It says, well, though you work, though you toil, though you have joy, everything is vanity. I don't know why that book is a little bit negative. Like, it's kind of, okay, so in chapter 2 of the book of Ecclesiastes, we find out here that this is one of the children of King David. And so my Bible says the words of a preacher, okay? But so what he's telling us, he said, whatever his eyes desired, he did not keep himself from it. So he acquired male and female servants. He had singers. He had all kinds of animals in his flock. He had gardens. He had like all of these great, beautiful things because he's the child of a king. And so he said he did not withhold his heart from any pleasure, for his heart rejoiced in all of his labor, and this was his reward from his labor. So then he looked upon all of the works that his hands had done, and on the labor in which he had toiled. And indeed all was vanity and grasping for the wind. He said there was no profit under the sun. So it's kind of weird. Like, how can he have so much joy and so much pleasure? If you watch my videos, my recent videos before, you would see that I'm very thankful, okay? Sometimes we need to give thanks for the air in our body, even when there's trouble all around us, okay? So, when I say in our body, the air that we breathe, you know what I'm saying? So, I kind of wonder what goes through people's heads, because I like to understand people. So here, how can this man have so much beautiful, he has all of this wealth, he has beautiful things, everything he desired he had, but yet all he can do is complain about it. And so I'm not complaining about what his complaints are, but I had asked a question on a previous day, and I feel like it might be an answer to a question I asked. Okay, so the specific question I don't have, but as I continue to read, maybe perhaps you'll kind of see what I'm talking about, okay? So I'm going to continue to read. I'm at verse 12, okay? Then I turned myself to consider wisdom and madness and folly. For what can man do who succeeds the king? Or what can the man do who succeeds the king? Only what he has already done, okay? So I wonder if he's complaining because he doesn't know. Like, if you're the child of a king, does he even know what his true calling is? I think he feels lost. Like, he may have everything, but not really have himself. Maybe he has to play a role that other people want him to play, but maybe that's not the role he wants to play. Okay, so anyway, then it says in verse 13, then I saw that wisdom excels folly, as light excels darkness. So his brother was Solomon. It's either his brother or his half-brother, okay? But, so wisdom is important in their family because they're seeing wisdom around. Wisdom in that time was getting great praise because Solomon was visited by Queen Sheba, and we know that he was a very wise king, if not the wisest king, okay? So anyway, the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I myself perceived that the same event happens to us all. So he's saying, whether you're wise or whether you're a fool, the rain falls on the just or the unjust. That's kind of what he's saying. So I said in my heart, as it happens to the fool, it also happens to me. And why was I then more wise? So I'm not going to really go into his head too much, because as I stated, if I were in his head or in his thoughts too much, I would complain because I wouldn't see the value in things. So I'm not complaining about this person. It's just that he's a little bit lost at this time, okay? So I'm going to jump back down a little bit further. Okay, so I'm going to go to verse 17, okay? So I'm trying to understand, what is this guy thinking? So he's telling us what he's thinking in verse 17. He said, therefore I hated life because the work that was done under the sun was grievous to me. For all is vanity and grasping for the wind. So now I'm getting an idea of why he can't be so happy. He's a little bit sad because he maybe doesn't feel valued for the work that he does, or he just thinks it's a lot of hard work. He said, then I hated all my labor in which I had toiled under the sun, because I must leave it to the man who will come after me. So then you have to ask, does he have any descendants? I kind of wonder if he has no descendants, and that's why he's feeling so upset that he's putting in a lot of hard work with no one to receive the reward. At least no one that he could be glad that he did so much work for, okay? And who knows whether he will be a wise man or a fool. Yet he will rule over all of my labor in which I toiled, and in which I have shown myself wise under the sun. This also is vanity. Therefore I turned my heart and despaired of all the labor in which I had toiled under the sun. For there is a man whose labor is with wisdom, knowledge, and skill, yet he must leave his heritage to a man who has not labored for it. This also is vanity and a great evil. Okay? So it depends on which country you live in and how your economic system works. But sometimes it's the people who do the hardest labor. Sometimes they do feel downcast and brokenhearted because it's like they work so hard, but they get paid so little. And I guess this guy is saying it's a great evil. But he was the king's son, so he had great wealth. He's just sad maybe he didn't have a purpose of leaving a person to leave it to. Who he should, like if it was his child he was leaving his wealth to, maybe he wouldn't complain, okay? But, okay. For what has a man for all of his labor and for the striving of his heart, with which he has toiled under the sun? Now, I might kind of answer that question a little bit. So when I do my other videos, I talk a lot about generational, whether we bless the future generations by being obedient to the Creator, or whether we bring hardship and punishment on them by disobeying the commandments of the Creator. Okay, so what is he asking again? He said, for what has man for all of his labor and for the striving of his heart? So what do we do when you work hard? You're building up blessings for, if not yourself, if not your children, for future generations. So he's asking this question. He feels kind of lost. Maybe perhaps he really deep down in his heart probably needed to start a family. So I'm just trying to understand him. So forgive me for that. I'm going to keep reading. Okay. For all his days are sorrowful and his work grievous. Even in the night, his heart takes no rest. This also is vanity. And I forgot to finish my thoughts. So people who are blue collar workers and they work really, really hard, and they like, I don't know if they're pushing the lawnmower, if they're farming. I don't know what are the other grievous tasks that are very, very hard. But there are a lot of people who work very, very hard, and maybe they don't feel like they get the right amount of pay for their hard work. So this is the question maybe that maybe some people are asking, like, why when I work so hard, why do I not see the rewards? Because even though this man was so wealthy, he was saying there was no profit under the sun. Why is that? He said whatever his eyes desired, he did not keep himself from them. He didn't withhold his heart from any pleasure. Yet he still could. And so, like I said, I'm so thankful. That's just my nature. I'm thankful for the beauty of life. I'm thankful for living, okay? But some people have so much beauty and wealth in their life, but yet they're still upset. And maybe that's his personality type. I'm not sure. So I'm going to continue to read here. Okay? He says, there's nothing better for a man that he should eat and drink, and that his soul should enjoy good in his labor. Now, that part I can agree with. Because I'm seeing it from a blue collar worker perspective. Like if you work really, really hard and you get paid so little, do you really ever enjoy your day off? I mean, to a certain degree you do, because maybe you ate some food but he's saying here, there's nothing better for a man than he should eat and drink, and that his soul should enjoy good in his labor. So that is a very interesting statement, because you should probably really like your labor. Maybe that way you won't have to be so grouchy, okay? Okay, so let's see. This also I saw was from the hand of Aravat. For who can eat or who can have enjoyment more than I? Remember, he's a wealthy man, okay? And so he says, for Aravat gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is good in his sight. But to the sinner he gives the work of gathering and collecting, that he may give to him who is good before Aravat. Okay, Aravat or Yahweh, however you want to say it. Or okay. This also is vanity and grasping for the wind. Okay, so as I read Ecclesiastes, all I keep seeing is vanity, vanity, vanity. But I wanted to know why, and maybe perhaps I see why. Okay. Many people work hard, okay? The wealthy or the poor may work hard, but it's nothing worse. This is what is being said. There's nothing worse than for you to work so hard and have no pleasure in your work. But he also says something interesting that maybe I didn't really pay much attention to previously. I don't know why now he's the son of a king, so maybe this is how his rulership, if he took the throne, this is how he saw it, because he said, for Aravat gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is good in his sight, but to the sinner he gives the work of gathering and collecting, that he may give to him who is good before Aravat. So in his leadership, he would give the sinners the work of gathering and collecting, but to, I guess, those who are wise and knowledgeable and or good in the sight of the Creator, so they value keeping the commandments, or they value not living a life of sin on purpose, those people should have joy. Let's see. That's pretty much what this message is about. But he had to end it, of course, with this also is vanity and grasping for the wind. So that is basically Ecclesiastes. Basically, it's about vanity. Okay? So I did ask a question. I think I opened to that page in the Bible because it was the answer to a question I had asked. But I'm not sure if you guys had asked the same question. Like, why do you work so hard? What is the value for your hard work? Are you getting paid your true value? Maybe those are questions you're asking. And maybe these are things that might be sorted out in the future. I'm not sure, okay? I hope there are blessings coming into your life if you've been a righteous worker. I pray very diligently for the righteous people, because I kind of see how the Bible explains that there was a time period where there was no justice. So the Creator basically had to come in and bring justice to the people, okay? So if you're feeling like there's not justice in your life or in certain situations, bring it up in prayer, and maybe perhaps your Creator will move on your behalf, okay? So thank you for listening to my message. Please support my channel with your like, subscribe, sharing, or comments, okay? Bye-bye.